Welcome to 5 Strategies for Conducting Visual Ethnographic Research in the Visual Arts. I'm Debbie Sickler-Voigt, Professor of Art Education and author of Teaching and Learning in Art Education. We begin with Elliot Eisner's quote, "In the visual arts, to know depends on the ability to see, not merely to look." This presentation answers how can visual data combined with our expert knowledge and intuition inform student-centered and professional practices that have meaning and relevance. Which research methods are best suited for conducting visual ethnography? How do research questions emerge, shift, change, and lead to more questions? How can visual ethnographic studies be influenced by our personal experiences, teaching philosophies, societal occurrences, and student needs? Visual ethnography refers to sociological studies of visual materials. It identifies the relationships between audience and images, as well as the effects and power of visual objects in context. Visual ethnography is rooted in ethnography, a form of qualitative research that centers on the study of cultures, groups, and sites. Its scope includes the study of audiences, such as students and art educators, whose discipline centers on visual information. Ethnography's comprehensive approach is benefited when researchers have prolonged engagement in settings such as schools and learn insiders' insights. Researchers develop narrative descriptions to disseminate what they learn. Audiences represent a type of social identity as we study material objects that include art and multimedia works. Visual ethnography invites us to examine the purpose and function of material objects as well as the relationships between objects and viewers. We can research the mobility of material objects, such as how and where people view them. As art educators, we can study the impacts that visuals have on social identity. I have used visual ethnography to describe the relationships and meanings of multimedia objects and the social identities of students and teachers. I focus on context for viewing and studying art. I develop learning resources aimed to have value to students and teachers in the classroom and beyond. We can connect visual ethnography to big ideas that relate to issues of the day. Ideation is the process of using visual ethnography to generate ideas. Think about the issues that have deep meanings to you and your students and communities. I have included issues that I care about in my textbooks Artist Lessons to Thrive instructional resources that teach about artists, artistic behaviors, and life skills. Additionally, I have studied the International Children's Exhibition of Fine Arts Leditsa's collection to develop narratives called Spotlight on Student Art that teach about international children's artworks using UNESCO themes. We can follow 5 strategies to conduct visual ethnographic research. Strategy number 1 is connecting context-rich visuals with meaningful content and educators' expert knowledge. Consider, what drives you? What are you good at? And what would you like to know more about? Our curiosities and desire to know more influence the issues and research questions we pursue, and ultimately impact the larger story of research in our field. This first strategy connects to epistemology, the theory of knowledge that states that there are multiple ways of knowing. As individuals, we see and interpret the world through diverse lenses. Strategy number 2 is to select personally driven and effective research methods. We will identify how to encounter the visual objects we want to study. Are they accessible? Are there limitations such as cost and permissions? We will develop research questions that have significance. Conduct a thorough review of literature. Immerse ourselves in field experiences and the study of objects. Perform observations and conduct interviews. Collect and analyze visual and social cultural data to form interpretations. Strategy number 3 is navigating changes as new questions and information arise. Our research begins with a guiding scope and structure, questions and goals. Because ethnographic research is exploratory, change is natural to our studies. Additionally, the cultures we study can be multifaceted and complex. Therefore, we will remain open-minded to allow the research and our professional intuitions to guide us. We should pause at intervals to determine when changes are necessary and when it is best to add or disregard information. We might save some of our research data for future studies. Strategy number 4 is reseeing and making refinements. Visual data is key to understanding. Our research is stronger when we look at it with fresh eyes, meaning we walk away and come back. Our precise use of language and edits are essential to developing narratives. These processes expand our understandings and build on our data. We strive to make clear interpretations by decoding meanings for our audiences. Strategy number 5 is disseminating research results to improve practices. There are multiple ways to share our research. Research publications include scholarly articles, book chapters, and more. My textbook, Teaching and Learning in Art Education, includes visual ethnographic methods written as instructional resources rather than formal studies. I am doing the same with my forthcoming book, STEAM, Teaching and Learning Through the Arts and Design. We can also share our findings as visual presentations, such as the artworks we create and community art education projects. Professional presentations and workshops encourage peer engagement and the exchange of ideas. Based on these 5 strategies and examples presented, I'd love to know your thoughts and plans for conducting visual ethnography that has meaning and relevance to you and your students. Thanks for participating.